The world watches with bated breath. Global tensions are escalating and the sense of unease is spreading like wildfire. The specter of a third world war, once a distant nightmare, now haunts headlines and conversations. In cafes, homes, and workplaces, the topic of global conflict is unavoidable. From the battlefields of Ukraine to the tense waters of the Taiwan Strait, the world seems to teeter on the precipice. Each day brings new reports of skirmishes and standoffs, heightening the sense of impending crisis. The anxiety is palpable, a collective unease settling over the international community. People everywhere are glued to their screens, seeking updates and hoping for signs of de-escalation. The conflict in Ukraine, ignited by Russia's invasion, has become a powder keg in Eastern Europe. The devastation is evident in the ruined cities and the weary faces of soldiers and civilians alike. China's increasingly assertive posture in the South China Sea and towards Taiwan has further inflamed global anxieties. Military exercises and naval patrols are now common sights, adding to the tension. Meanwhile, the volatile Middle East continues to simmer with long-standing conflicts and proxy wars. The region remains a hotbed of unrest with no clear resolution in sight. The rise of cyber warfare adds another layer of complexity and danger. Cyber attacks can cripple infrastructure, steal sensitive information, and sow chaos without a single shot being fired. No longer confined to traditional battlefields, conflicts now spill over into the digital realm, targeting critical infrastructure and sowing discord. The digital age has brought new vulnerabilities that are being exploited with increasing frequency. Economic sanctions, another weapon of the modern age, are being wielded with increasing frequency, further dividing nations and disrupting the global order. These sanctions can cripple economies, leading to further instability and resentment. In this climate of uncertainty and fear, the question arises: are we on the brink of World War III? The possibility looms large in the minds of many as they try to make sense of the rapidly changing world around them. While predicting the future is a fool's errand, examining the current geopolitical landscape, understanding the root causes of these tensions, and listening to the assessments of experts can offer valuable insights into the likelihood of a global conflict. By staying informed and engaged, we can better navigate these turbulent times and work towards a more stable and peaceful world. The war in Ukraine, sparked by Russia's invasion in February 2022, has become a horrifying spectacle of modern warfare. The scale and intensity of the conflict have drawn comparisons to some of the darkest periods in recent history, with cities reduced to rubble and countless lives disrupted. It has shattered the illusion of peace in Europe and sent shockwaves across the globe. The war has not only affected those directly involved, but has also had a profound impact on global politics, economics, and security. The conflict has not only resulted in a devastating humanitarian crisis, but has also reignited Cold War tensions and raised the specter of a wider conflict. Millions of people have been displaced, seeking refuge in neighboring countries, while the international community grapples with the implications of this renewed aggression. Russia's invasion, condemned by much of the international community, has been met with fierce resistance from Ukraine, bolstered by military aid and support from Western nations. The resilience and determination of the Ukrainian people have been nothing short of remarkable as they defend their sovereignty and way of life. NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, has played a crucial role in supporting Ukraine, providing military equipment, intelligence sharing, and logistical support. This support has been vital in helping Ukraine withstand the onslaught and maintain its defensive capabilities. However, NATO has been careful to avoid direct military intervention, wary of escalating the conflict into a direct confrontation between Russia and the West. The delicate balance of power and the potential for a broader war have made this a complex and precarious situation. The war in Ukraine has exposed the fault lines in the international order. It has revealed the limitations of diplomatic efforts and the challenges of maintaining global stability in the face of aggressive actions by powerful nations. It has highlighted the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression. The images of civilians seeking shelter and the destruction of once thriving communities serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of war. The conflict has also underscored the importance of alliances like NATO in deterring aggression and supporting nations facing existential threats. The unity and resolve of these alliances are crucial in maintaining a balance of power and preventing further escalation. The outcome of the war in Ukraine will have profound implications for the future of Europe and the world. The decisions made in the coming months and years will shape the geopolitical landscape for generations to come. A Russian victory would not only be a tragedy for Ukraine, but would also embolden authoritarian regimes around the world. It would set a dangerous precedent, encouraging other nations to pursue their ambitions through force rather than diplomacy. It would signal a dangerous shift in the global balance of power, undermining the rules-based international order that has prevailed since the end of World War II. The stakes are high, and the world watches with bated breath as this conflict continues to unfold. Across the vast expanse of the Pacific, another potential flashpoint is emerging: China. Under the leadership of Xi Jinping, China has adopted an increasingly assertive foreign policy, flexing its military muscle and challenging the established regional order. Nowhere is this more evident than in the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan, a self-governing island that China claims as its own, has become a focal point of tensions between Beijing and Washington. China views Taiwan as a breakaway province that must be reunited with the mainland by force if necessary. The United States, while officially adhering to the One China policy, has committed to providing Taiwan with the means to defend itself. China's military activities near Taiwan have intensified in recent years, with frequent incursions into Taiwan's air defense identification zone and large-scale military exercises simulating an invasion. These actions have raised concerns that China may be preparing to take military action against Taiwan, potentially sparking a conflict that could draw in the United States and its allies. Beyond Taiwan, China's growing military presence in the South China Sea, a strategically important waterway, has also fueled regional tensions. China's claims to nearly the entire South China Sea, overlapping with the claims of several Southeast Asian nations, have led to confrontations and raised the risk of conflict. Section 4. Flashpoint Middle East, a cauldron of conflict. The Middle East, a region long synonymous with conflict and instability, remains a powder keg with the potential to ignite a wider conflagration. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the Syrian civil war, and the rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran are just a few of the long-standing issues that continue to plague the region. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, despite decades of diplomatic efforts, remains unresolved. The expansion of Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank, and the ongoing violence between Israel and Hamas, the militant group that controls the Gaza Strip, continue to fuel tensions and undermine the prospects for a lasting peace. The Syrian civil war, now in its second decade, has created a humanitarian catastrophe and destabilized the entire region. The involvement of external actors, including Russia, Iran, and the United States, has further complicated the conflict and made a peaceful resolution even more elusive. The rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran, two regional heavyweights with opposing geopolitical interests, has also contributed to the instability in the Middle East. The two countries have backed opposing sides in conflicts across the region, turning proxy wars into a defining feature of the Middle East's security landscape. Section 5. Cyber warfare and economic sanctions, the new battlefields. In the 21st century, the nature of warfare is evolving at an unprecedented pace. While traditional military force remains a potent tool, conflicts are increasingly being fought in the digital realm and through economic means. The battlefield has expanded beyond physical territories to include cyberspace and financial systems. Cyber warfare and economic sanctions have become integral parts of the modern geopolitical landscape, adding new layers of complexity and danger to international relations. These tools are reshaping how nations interact and compete on the global stage. Cyber warfare, the use of digital means to disrupt, disable, or destroy an adversary's critical infrastructure and information systems, has become a weapon of choice for nation-states and non-state actors alike. It allows for covert operations that can have devastating effects without the need for physical presence. Cyber attacks can cripple financial systems, disrupt power grids, sow discord among populations, and even influence elections. The anonymity and reach of the internet make it a powerful tool for those looking to cause widespread disruption. Economic sanctions, the deliberate withdrawal of customary trade and financial relations, have also become a common tool of statecraft. They are used to exert pressure without direct military confrontation. Sanctions are often imposed to punish rogue regimes, deter aggression, and compel adversaries to change their behavior. They can target specific industries, financial institutions, or even individuals. However, sanctions can also have unintended consequences, harming civilian populations and exacerbating humanitarian crises. The economic hardship caused by sanctions can lead to widespread suffering and instability. The increasing use of cyber warfare and economic sanctions has blurred the lines between peace and war. These methods can be employed during peacetime, creating a constant state of tension and uncertainty. These tools can be used to achieve strategic objectives without resorting to traditional military force, but they can also escalate tensions and lead to unintended consequences. The risk of miscalculation or retaliation is ever present. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected, the potential for cyber attacks and economic warfare to disrupt global stability will only grow. The interdependence of global systems means that a disruption in one area can have far-reaching effects, making the need for robust defenses and international cooperation more critical than ever.